Hello everyone, today I'm here to review for you Kiri-ai the Duel. This is a brand new 2-player only, really small card game where you are samurais facing off against each other. In this very swift slashing card game, let's go through roughly how the game plays, then I'll give you my final thoughts, and just know this was given to me by Lucky Duck Games to review for you. So how roughly does the game play? Well, you are playing as one of the two samurais, the red or the blue one. You have a hand of 5 basic cards, they're the same as your opponent, and you'll randomly get one special card as well to put into that hand and use at one time and one time only. There are stances in this game, so you'll both start in one stance, which will allow you to do a sidewards attack and an attack 2 in front of you. Now you'll also have the chance to move, be that move forward once, maybe move backwards once, or charge forwards twice. You can change stance, which will allow you to do a smaller swipe just to that sort of space on the track in front of you. Now with that sort of knowledge and that painted as a picture, you are playing cards simultaneously. So you will pick 2 cards from your hand and play them 1 and then 2. Your opponent will be doing that at the same time, and then you'll both reveal your first action. So maybe you're both just maneuvering a little bit. Then you reveal your second card, you're attacking but they're moving. Well, there's a turn order despite being simultaneous. It goes movement and then attacks. So maybe they've rushed forward into you, they can't go past you, but they've rushed forwards alongside you and you had sort of guessed that, so you'd side swiped your sword and that is already hit. Now they flip their card over and they've got 1 hit point left. It's that quick, but there are some nice little caveats. First of all, if you're playing a card in the wrong stance, then it's like a feint. You're not really doing that attack. However, if you successfully attack, at the same time your opponent successfully attacks, the blades parry and both sort of successful hits cancel out. And that's a really, really cool one. If obviously you've got a correct attack and they've got an incorrect one, you are hitting though. So effectively you're going into this battle to the death with 2 hit points. The first one takes you down to half health, the next one kills you off, and that can be over in a single round, That can literally be they've attacked right, maybe you've rushed into them and they've attacked again and you have completely fallen into their plan. It's a little bit of reading the opponent. What do you think they're going to do? Are they going to rush you? Are they going to maybe step back and go for a bigger hit? Or maybe you just step back then. The little caveat is, out of the 2 cards you play, whichever one you play second sort of gets a time out for the next round. So then you've got less cards to pick from. That card will come back to you when you slide that next one across from the next round. So you can always start to go, okay, well they can't hit me from that range because that was the attack that they'd moved over. Or maybe they can't charge me again because that was the card that they used at the end of the round. Okay, that means you've got a bit of information after that first round and you can start to deduce what you think they're going to do. And hopefully you get it right and you manage to get a very nice slash in on your opponent. As I mentioned, each player does get the chance of a special card, which is effectively maybe a different type of attack, maybe hitting 2 or 3 spaces away, or it's a perfect counter card where if they've perfectly attacked you, you counter it and get them, otherwise it does nothing, that sort of thing. Now, these are one-time abilities that are going to sit in your hand, and when you want to use them, you just play it like a normal card. Your opponent won't know because the backs are the same until you reveal it. They don't know that that's your special attack coming. And you can use that as some knowledge. Well, I know I've got this card. There's only 3 special attack cards. We've both got 1. You can't have this. So maybe you've got this one or this one. So you've got that to sort of think and put into that logic as you're trying to work out how to whittle them down and kill them off. So that is roughly how you play. Hopefully it's given you a good understanding. And let's start by jumping into what I think is a bit of a miss from the game, and it's to do with the amazing special attack cards. I just think in that first game, put them to one side. Have a beginner's mode that doesn't include them, so both players are playing with the exact same 5 cards. Play a couple of rounds, play a full game like that. It's great fun, and then go, okay, let's both have one of these special attack cards. It's just one extra thing for people to learn, and for some reason they just seem to slow things down. With people's choices, they've got slightly more to choose from, but in your beginning game, and it's not in the rules, forget those special orange attack cards, leave them in the box, or the sort of wallet thing, and just play with the basic cards. It's a great experience like that without them. That's how good this game is. Play it without them and then add them in. Not necessarily as an advanced mode, but as a normal mode after a beginner game. And I think it will go down. It's certainly, for me, teaching the game, just been a little bit easier doing that when it's someone's first game. And I think that's a bit of a miss that they didn't just sort of advise that in the rule book. Now we have to talk about the production quality of this game. It's pretty high despite being a very small game. Now first of all, super portable in this sort of wallety sort of thing. You sort of squish the cards back in, but you don't have to worry about those cards. They're not sort of papery cards. They feel like almost like, well, they've definitely got some kind of plastic on them or something. It feels like a strong card. It feels like almost a thin credit card. That's how cool and thick these cards feel. So as you're pushing them back into the wallet thing, you've got no issue with that they're going to be like good, like quality cards. And like I said, the backs on all of the cards, including the special ones, are the same, so you never know if it's one of those special cards or the regular cards that's being put down. Really, really do like that. So from a production sort of quality side of things, I really like that. Now, another slight miss for your first game, as you play, it certainly just becomes easier, is I wish that the iconography of sort of the Japanese characters for your stance were just a bit bigger. It might have been when I was playing my first game, the lighting wasn't maybe 100% great, but we just had the issue sometimes, as it's your first game, you're learning about, oh, I need to be in this stance to play this card properly. Well, just make those icons a little bit bigger, and I think it would have made it, for me, that little bit easier. But as you play your second, your third game, you've got no issues with that. You know exactly what's going on. You know exactly what stance you're in, and you're all good. It's just for that first game, I wish the Japanese characters for your stance were a little bit more obvious. I can see why they're not, because they're trying to make it a very minimal sort of look to the game, and making them too big might take away from that. But for an ease of play, it would have been nice. Okay, so it sounded a little bit negative so far, but let's say why I've really been enjoying Kiri-ai. Now, this is a really swift game. You can get this out at a lunch break. You can get this out at game night when you're waiting for that third person to arrive or whatever, and have a very quick and very cool little one-on-one duel with your opponent. And it's got some amazing choices along the way. I really like the fact it's simultaneous, that you're picking these cards, going, these are the 2 actions I'm going to do, then you reveal one. If you're both moving, well, you're probably just moving at the same time. Although there is an order if one of you's charging, just to work out exactly where you are on the battlefield along this sort of line. Now, then attacks happen, and it's a very specific order, and it allows those cards to be revealed simultaneously, but the actions play out in a very sort of predefined way. You will be moving it before an attack comes in. Now, that might mean you move and dodge an attack, but it might mean you move into an attack. And that really sucks, in a good way, because it's like, I thought they were going to be doing something different, and I've actually moved into their strike. And it's like, yeah, that's a my bad sort of thing. But a really cool one, because you're kind of reading your opponent. You've got a bit of information like, oh, they can't be doing that in the latter rounds because there's a card off the side. They can't be doing that. So maybe I should back off. And then they've gone for that big hit and you're like, I should have worked out they were in that stance. They could have been doing that. And after a couple of plays, that's the sort of thing that is like, that should be going through your head to work out what's risky, what's a good idea. But I really like that it's simultaneous. So when I'm choosing, you're choosing your cards. So there's not like I've played my cards, now I'm waiting for you, unless someone's really slow. And then this is how things are working. This is how things are working as you reveal those cards. So the rounds are super quick. And it's a lot of fun. Now let's say the other part is got to be one of those gaming moments that just feels right. There's something so satisfying about successfully being unsuccessful in terms of the parry system in this game. So when you have two successful hits coming in, they parry each other. And it feels great because it's like, haha, I'm gonna get you. And they're like, haha, same. And you're like, oh, we've blocked each other, we've parried each other at the perfect time. And it feels really good. Because it's like, all right, I was so close to actually inflicting a wound or maybe killing you off, but I was also super close to being wounded or finished off. But we've managed to sort of perfectly attack each other and block each other. And that's just a really, really cool thing. It feels like it shouldn't be. Because parrying is like, well, you've not actually managed to attack them. But if anything, that's as fun when that happens as when you actually get a hit. And once you've had a couple of missed attacks, a couple of parries, and someone finally gets one of those hits in, that feels really good. Even on the receiving end, you're like, oh, fair play. I've moved into that. Or I was just changing stance to get ready for the next attack. And maybe that's what they've done. They've gone for an attack, but you've changed stance, and now you're attacking back. You hope they move into the right place. Maybe they do, maybe they don't. And yeah, some really cool moments for what is a really small, very compact game that's over really quickly. And you're definitely going to be picking your cards back up, putting your samurai to the healthy side at the back of your side of the battlefield and going, we're going again, because it's almost impossible not to go best of 3 if you lose, and if you win, you're like, yeah, I can take you again. Best of 3 it is. So yes, I have a couple of issues with it, but it mostly pertains to that first game. There's a couple of bits where it's like, if you didn't have those special attack cards, it would just make learning that first game a little bit easier, get it to the table and through a game, and you'll have enjoyed it, certainly even without those special attack cards sort of straight away. I wish that some of the iconography, those characters, were a little bit bigger just to make it a bit more obvious. But again, once you've played once or twice, you're not seeing any of that as an issue, and you're definitely going to be including those special attack cards after your first game. Maybe even after your first round, if you're both like, yeah, let's get one of those in each sort of thing. I really like it. It's such a swift little attack, defending sort of, I'm going to hopefully attack at the right time. It's got all of those great properties a 2-player, small, portable game needs to be. It doesn't need much table space. It doesn't take long, but you do want to play another round as soon as it's over. And I've really enjoyed Kiri-ai. The Duel, it'll be definitely played for a long time by me, as I'm sort of hopefully inflicting wounds on other people as I play against them, and I can easily recommend it. So let me know what you've thought of it if you've played it in the comments section below. Are you going to be looking to pick this one up? And well, until next time, thanks for watching.